붉게 물든 저녁 노을을 볼 때마다 어릴 적 꿈과 희망이 생각이 나네. 가슴 깊은 곳에 영원한 어릴 적 나의 꿈. This poem is about how my parents were reminded of their childhood and the dreams that they had when they were young. My parents did not know how their lives would turn out to be or what their futures would lead them to, so they would live in the present, full of hopes and dreams. The red sunset takes them back in time to their youth, and they are reminded of their childhood when they were still in Korea. When they came home from school, they would see the sun setting as school ended very late during the evenings. The poem is very reminiscent, and they express that even though their lives are very different now, they remember what they had hoped for, which is now the present and the past.
Hello, my name is Millie Kwan, and my Sijo poem is called His New Life. 약속의 땅을 찾아 소녀는 바다를 건넜다. 고국을 떠나는 동안 용기를 가지고 그의 새로운 삶과 꿈을 이제 서로 익혀 있습니다. In search of promise, a boy crossed the sea's divide, leaving behind his homeland with courage as his guide. His new life and dreams now intertwined. My Sijo poem is about my dad and his immigration to America. My dad has immigrated to America when he was young, around 11 to 12 years old. He came in search of new opportunities and was set to live a new beginning in America. Living over a decade in Korea, I can only imagine how hard it was for my dad to move on and leave for his benefit. As a child, my dad has always told me that he moved to America when he was young, but never told me why. Thanks to this class, I was able to ask him why he chose to come to America, and was really grateful to do so. I learned many aspects that I never thought I would have ever known. So thank you very much, and good night.
잠시의 유학이라 하며 처음 밟은 미국 땅. 주마등처럼 스쳐 지나간 청춘 사이 가정 꾸리니 어느새 고향보다 익숙해졌네. So, my Sijo poem captures my parents' migration stories of resilience, which are fairly similar to each other actually. Both of my parents immigrated to America after graduating university in Korea to study photography in an art school in Santa Barbara, which is where they actually initially met. And while neither expected to get a job, marry, and start a family in America, let alone make America their permanent home, my parents have now both lived in the United States for longer than they lived in Korea before immigrating. My mom even says that she is now more used to life in America than she feels that she would be in Korea if she were to return right now. And though it may have not been the original plan for either of my parents, both found a career, family, and home in America. And I'm eternally grateful that they did so because they opened numerous doors for me and allowed me to do all that I currently have the privilege of doing. Thank you.
Hope wavers in a familiar yet threatening cadence. Surrender tempts, but newfound resilience roots deeply. Clarity revitalizes me, and I am born again. My name is Yuri Yamachika, and that was my Sijo poem titled Strength. I wrote this based off my mom and a glimpse of her childhood. For context, she faced many difficulties growing up, and so when recalling that specific time in her life, she remembered how personal circumstances often caused her hope and positivity to falter somewhat regularly, as I mentioned in the first line. Giving up was always a convenient option for her, but her resilience and perseverance kept her rooted and unwilling to surrender to her unfortunate conditions. Because of this, her hope never wavered any further, and this caused her to be metaphorically reborn as a new person with an indomitable drive.
Titled Courageous Roots, my Sijo poem refers to my parents' immigration story from Korea to the United States. Upon foreign shores, I traversed the vast American expanse. Ignited with hope in my heart, dreams sparkle in my eyes, planting my Korean roots on American soil with courage. I created this Sijo poem in order to describe their immigration story when they first came from Korea to America. They had both left everything behind them in their homeland in hopes to create a better life for their future family. With a sense of enthusiasm and excitement, they were filled with a sense of ambition and anticipation. anticipation for the new opportunities that they would face ahead of them. I wanted to portray their determination and stories of resilience while connecting it with their aspirations and cultural roots, which was from Korea.
My name is Marcus Kwan, and this is my Sijo poem titled New Wave. 어릴 적의 꿈을 하늘 높이 날고 싶었지. 키우고 자란 지금, 꿈은 삶의 새로운 시작. 고향을 떠나는 마음, 떠나면서도 남겨진 추억. For translation, the childhood dream was to fly high in the sky. Now grown up, the dream is a new beginning in life. Leaving the hometown, yet memories remain even as I leave. So the overall meaning of my Sijo poem was through the reflection of leaving behind the familiarity of my home and childhood, yet I carry with me cherished memories that will always remain a part of who I am. This poem captures the complex emotions of transition, growth, and reflection that accompany the significant milestone of graduating high school, resonating with my own experience at this pivotal moment in life. Looking back, my past experiences have been bittersweet. But as I now prepare for my new chapter, my goal of graduating high school has evolved into one that follows my passions and future aspirations in life.
Hello, my name is Alicia Yu, and this is my Sijo poem titled Dreams and Visions. We cross the seas just with a strong courage and bright dreams. With many deep trials, we followed our dreams and made our hopes to grow. Our hearts aglow, no longer a dream of the night, but vision in dawn's light. The story of my family's immigration to the United States is the subject of my Sijo poetry. Our decision to come to the United States was based on our dreams and some sort of bravery, but due to the differences between our cultures and languages, it was never easy for us to live here and get along with other people. The idea I have focused on writing this poem was the difference between a dream and a vision. A dream is simply just a dream, and fantasy not a reality. But if you make an action to achieve that dream, it will soon become a vision. And I think that the dream that we had when we came to the United States is now a vision for us to achieve. This poem made me think a lot about my life and how thankful I should be. I am so grateful that I have a family and how my parents decided to come to the United States to change our dreams into a vision. Thank you so much for listening.
Homeland echoes fade. Young feet cross the ocean's wide divide. New soil beneath unsure steps, a puzzle where memories hide. Lost in translation dance, childhood's tongues tied, dreams denied.
Hello, my name is Kate Park, and this is my Sijo poem titled Beyond the Waves. As the waves went up and down, we moved together with all our might. It sometimes got so hard we nearly fell in, but just as we were about to fall, we caught each other and moved on. So this Sijo poem is my interpretation of my journey of my family's life, especially in the past few years, and how we might have felt like we were on a boat out in the ocean with large waves during a certain time. But at the end, at the time it might have been unstable and caused us a lot of worries, but in the end we figured out how to make it safely across. Although this might sound like a really generic poem or just a really generic situation, I really think that this interpretation is a really good deception or just kind of way to express how our family gets through a lot of situations together.
푸르른 하늘 아래 서서히 피오르던 꽃, 나도 그 꽃처럼 피오를 수 있을까? 고민하던 때 계절은 흘러 한이 시린 겨울을 맞이하니 이윽고 하염없이 내 마음 모르고 눈은 쌓여만 가네. Flowers slowly blooming under the blue sky. Can I bloom like that flower? As I was worrying, the seasons passed, and I faced the cold winter. Eventually, snow continues to pile up without knowing my heart. This Sijo poem is about my story of moving to the United States. Since I'm the first generation to move to the United States, I have experienced many obstacles. However, I believe that by overcoming these obstacles, although it will take a lot of time and effort, by the end I will be able to blend in. Using this story, I compared myself to a flower that is waiting for its time to be opened. Even if there are many challenges waiting for me, I will overcome them and widely open my petals just like flowers.
This Sijo poem is called Remembrance, an emotional, resonant poem by a student who is thriving. A cool, refreshing breeze was drifting among the darkest place. The joyful screams of kids around me were filled with happiness, realizing it was all a fantasy that never occurred. The Sijo poem that I wrote about goes back to a time where I was in middle school, and it's essentially a poem about how I was bullied in school, where I felt out of place, I had no connections with any of my classmates, and I felt like an outcast for the most part. This poem is a tribute to what my expectations were like in middle school, and the saddening reality of seeing all the other kids feeling happy while I was someone who felt out of place, which was one of the reasons my confidence drastically fell. This poem is a tribute to my past, and now I can reflect on how this could help me in the future of being able to connect with new people and trying to gain my confidence back.
Wrapped in America's embrace, but the horn calls. America's gleam, Ethiopia's sway. Though streets may differ, cultures blend gracefully. In American dreams lies Ethiopia's face, for home is where her heart resides.
A flower, leaving my friends behind on a faraway land across the ocean, as a stranger settled down in a new place, adapt to new people, like a flower blooming in the wintertime.
Hi, my name is Audrey Lee, and this is my Sijo poem titled The River. The river flows continuously, never stopping in sight. The rushing stream goes with all force, no obstacles bar its path. It's hard to see the will it takes to rush over the pebbles. This poem was a poem I made about the struggles that I faced as a student, a daughter, a friend, and a sister, and generally about my life experience, in that a lot of people assume all these achievements I've been able to accomplish were just a result of good luck, some fortune. And yes, even though I've been blessed with many things and have many privileges that allow me to take these opportunities and accomplish these goals, I often find it hard for myself even to realize that I worked really hard to make these accomplishments come true, and sometimes forget just how much hard work I put into something. And so I made this poem to remind myself that it's okay to take the time to look at what I've done and take a bit of a break when I have to.
Home embrace. In distant land, I wander, longing for home embrace. Memories like whispers beckon me back to that place.
A New Life by Felix Lee. Across the treacherous ocean lies a great realm of hope, a land so ambitious yet oh so mysterious. With steadfast determination I embrace this new life. My Sijo poem illustrates the acceptance of a new life in America. Reflecting on the story of my grandmother, I wanted to write this poem to commemorate her courage and resilience in beginning an entirely new chapter of life in a foreign land. My first line, "Across the treacherous ocean lies a great realm of hope," glorifies how America was seen as the land of opportunities. I wanted to emphasize how millions of immigrants believed that although they would be leaving their families, homes, and entire lives, the United States would provide them with the chance to start anew. My next line, "A land so ambitious yet also mysterious," presents a conflict of either taking the risk to start over and potentially succeeding in life, or choosing to remain in a secure environment with the friends and family one loves. I wanted to appeal to the anxiety when deciding to take a risky opportunity, to further highlight the gamble immigrants must accept when choosing their path. The final line, "With steadfast determination I embrace this new life," delves into the perspective of my grandmother. It describes how she had to accept no matter what kind and how many failures arose, she would remain resilient and figure out the solution herself. I dedicated my Sijo poem to my grandmother, as she was the one who allowed my life in America to happen.